fight in Brazil?
Why? Because the fight had already become personal to me, and I wanted to beat her in the most devastating way possible, and that would be in front of her own people. And I actually, before all this came up, I went down to Brazil for like a media tour, and everyone there was so awesome and amazing. And they kept asking me, when are you going to fight down here, Ronda? When are you going to fight down here? And I promised them, I was like, I'm going to find a way to fight down here, I promise. And I'm a woman of my word. So I saw an opportunity to be able to fight down there, and I wanted to give them exactly what they wanted, exactly what I promised, so that's where I'm going.
Ronda, did you feel disrespected when she came to your fight against Scat and sat in the front row kind of like, I'm scouting you out, I'm coming for you, just without saying it in her, I guess in her Brazilian language?
No, I feel like it's a big compliment. She goes so far out of her way to watch me. And it's good that she makes herself visible because it helps sell the fight. And so if she didn't show up, I'd be like, damn, this chick is lazy. Man, my back hurts from carrying this fight. So I'm glad she's putting some effort out there.
And you posted your legacy is being you don't talk about much, as being like a eventual UFC Hall of Famer on your short list of things that you want to accomplish in the future.
My short list? I got a very long list. Yeah, I'd like to be a Hall of Famer. That'd be cool.
You posted something on Instagram about not copying anyone's style. Was that a message for Bethe?
No. It meant that I was posting some shadow boxing, I think that's what it was. And I know I have a very unconventional way of striking. And a lot of people say that things that I do are wrong when they're really targeted to help me do things that I'm good at. And so I kind of steal ideas from here and there and try to piece it together into something that works for me. Like when I was doing judo as a kid, I used to always say that I'm never going to be able to do your judo better than you can, and you'll never be able to do my judo better than me. You know, you can teach me your Uchimata, but I'll never be able to do your Uchimata as good. I have to take whatever works with yours for me, and whatever works for theirs, and whatever works for theirs, and create my own Uchimata. And it doesn't make one wrong and one right. It just makes them all custom.
Ronda, speaking of judo, have you reconsidered now that the Rio Olympics are less than a year away of maybe going back for gold?
No, I'm gonna go watch though. that chapter of my life is closed, you know, and I've walked away from it confidently, knowing that I've done everything I was meant to do, and hopefully one day in fighting I'll be able to walk away with the same kind of confidence and fulfillment from what I've accomplished.
Well, I want to talk about the division, because there's talk that the strawweights have a more competitive division, and that basically in the bantamweights people are fighting for second place. So do you fear that you may run out of opponents and run out of challenges before the other women are up to the level to truly challenge you?
Well, I guess the day that I really feel like I've run out is the day that I'll be done. And right now, they're lining up around the block. But when the day comes where I feel like I've done it all I could do, and the women's strawweight division being so successful and competitive is one of the most encouraging things that's happened. And that division has nothing to do with me, and it's thriving. And once I feel like women's MMA is really self-sustaining and something that I could see lasting for decades without me, then I'll be able to step away. And so, yeah, everyone that says, yo, you're running out of opponents, better hope I don't run out, because then I'll be done.
Well, the thing is, too, is that, you know, it feels like some of the strawweights have started training earlier. Other than Sarah McMahon, a lot of the women in the division, no disrespect, but literally said, I took my kid to a kickboxing class one day, and then I learned that I loved fighting. Yeah. And it's hard to catch up to the experience level that you have. So that's really the concern, is whether or not we'll get the pure athletes that were born and bred that way like you are in the division.
I mean, I lucked out, and that I was prepared perfectly for something that didn't even exist yet. I'm totally, you know, agree with that, and yeah, I do think that I'm so far ahead that they can't keep up. But you know, I love what I do, and I'll continue doing it. And every single girl that comes in there has a chance. I mean, there are so many cautionary tales of fighters that seemed indestructible at one time and then one day weren't. And I'm doing everything that I can to not be one of those tales.
Rhonda, we know that your mom was a big influence in your life and your sports career. She was your date last night at the ESPYs. You thanked her on stage. What was it like, or how did it feel like for you to take her to an event and for her to see everything you've done and how far you've come?
Well, it's nice to try and give my mom a fraction of the credit that she deserves. And I think I'm still nowhere close to giving her all the credit that she deserves, but at least bringing her last night and letting her see a piece of what we created together could do that a little bit. But I know that she deserves so much more than what I've given her already, and I'm just trying to do the most that I can.
Hey, Ronda, with your rise to superstardom being so meteoric, books, movies, winning everything, is there a chance that the Ronda Rousey brand could be bigger than the game itself, or is that kind of a goal?
I mean, I could try. Why should I stop at a limit? Why should I set limits for myself? And I take a lot of Armenian sayings, and then one of them is be jealous but be kind. I'm very jealous of the success that the UFC has had, but in a kind way, in that I want so much more for them, but I want just as much and more for me. And so for me to aspire to surpass that, we would both help each other, and so that's a great thing for both of us.
Bethe has made so many remarks, aside from the suicide comments. She's also mentioned that she feels that you might not be mentally ready or stable because you have spent most of your time this year focusing on, 2 movies that came out this summer, your book tour. Is there any truth to that, or does it make you stronger to be able to multitask?
It keeps you from getting burnt out multitasking, and I think it's awesome for me that she's keeping her fingers crossed that I'm at a fraction of my potential, whereas I'm preparing for her to be better than she's ever been before. And so she can hope that I'm worse off, but I want to show her that I'm not.
You've mentioned that you want to punish her. If you see an early finish, do you think you'll avoid taking it just to prolong the fight?
That's hard to say because I'm so instinctual. But,
Right. I mean, because what if you see a 6-second finish, and what do you do? Because is that enough of a punishment?
Well, there's different kinds of finishes. I could go for a submission finish, or I could go for a striking finish, and striking finishes take a little longer, but they could start at the same time.
So 12 seconds.
You never know. So I might, some things take longer. Like a choke takes longer than an arm bar, or a TKO takes longer than a choke, and so I might go for the prolonged finish instead, but they still begin at the same point.